Just a quick review of the copper wrist compression brace. I guess you could call this a brace because a brace kind of, is something that restricts motion, kind of holds things in place. I think of this more as a sleeve though, because it's really highly elastic and flexible. So think of this as not really like a rigid brace or anything with like, metal or plastic stays that keep everything in place. This is just kind of a light compression for your wrist. If you have like an overworked wrist or you want to restrict the motion a little bit, I think this is a great lightweight support. There's kind of a ton of these that are out there though on the internet. So let me name a few features that I really like about this one in particular. The first thing is that it is highly flexible. So you do get kind of flexible compression, which I really like. The other thing I like is that it's really lightweight. It's not really heavy because you don't want a lot of extra weight on your arm as you're moving around. And the other thing I really like is that it's breathable. So I always say, like, what good is, like the perfect brace or perfect wrist sleeve, if it does what it's supposed to do, but it's just uncomfortable or it's just hot. Especially if you're going to wear this in the summer months, if you're out doing yard work or if you're going to play sports and wear the thing, you don't want anything that's really too hot because you're going to start to sweat and then, these things get kind of smelly and stinky and then you got to wash them. And a lot of times these elastic things, if you wash them a lot, they lose their elasticity. So it's really good just to start out with a really breathable fabric. So I think if you're looking for a lightweight support, I think this wrist kind of like, compression, I don't know, a brace, I guess it's a brace, kind of a sleeve kind of thing. This is probably a really good one I think to pick out. Now, if your wrist is just plain sore, you have arthritis, there are a lot of other things you can do. Or if you just have carpal tunnel, there's a lot of other things you can do for the wrist area besides just splint it. The sore wrist solution, there's a couple things I want to show you real quick that you can do for your wrist that will make a big difference. It starts out with anatomy and stuff like that. Shows you all your little ligaments and your wrist bones and stuff. Okay, increase wrist circulation. So a lot of people know that you can do heat on it. You just put a heat pack on your wrist. Okay, that's really nothing groundbreaking. And interesting, this shows you how to make a hot pack out of a sock and some rice. So you can make a homemade hot pack pretty easy. But how about heat and cold? So there's something called contrast therapy where you do heat and then cold and then heat and then cold and you alternate that. When you alternate that, you're kind of like increasing the circulation, then you're decreasing it, you're increasing it, you're decreasing it. So what happens is you're kind of flushing the blood in there and then you're constricting it and then you're flushing more blood. So it just kind of flushes the whole area out and really increases the circulation and really helps get rid of that pain. So it just feels really good too. So that's something you can do instantly in your kitchen if you know how to do it. Decrease wrist pressure. If you're overworked wrist, sometimes it drives up your carpal tunnel pressure. That's the whole problem with carpal tunnel is that you have increased pressure and that pressure puts a lot of pressure on the median nerve in your wrist. There's a simple technique you can do. It takes you 1 minute to do, and it actually decreases carpal tunnel pressure for up to 15 minutes. It may do more. The research didn't study any more than 15 minutes, but that's pretty good that you can just do something for a minute and then instantly decrease carpal tunnel pressure. So if you're on like an assembly line worker, and you need a little break, it's good to do this technique and then kind of lower that pressure every now and then. So you do it frequently throughout the day, you lower the pressure so you don't have a chance to, irritate that median nerve and all the tissues in your wrist joint. Relaxing your wrist joint. Using a tennis ball, you can do some simple massage techniques on the table. That feels really good. Also increases circulation. Here's like unloading your wrist joint. So especially if you have like an arthritic changes in your wrist, arthritic joints love to be distracted. So this is a simple distraction technique you can do in sitting. Basically, it's just pulling the bones apart a matter of millimeters in a certain direction with a certain grip on your wrist. And arthritic joints just love to be distracted because simply what you're doing is you're taking all the pressure off. And suddenly it doesn't, its job is, hold the two bones together and you stress it, there's pressure in the joint, but hey, when you distract it, all the pressure's off, the joint has time to, rest, breathe, get some circulation to it, really helps speed up healing. So a lot of things you can do if you know how. This is the easiest thing, especially for prevention. If you feel like your wrists are getting a little sore, add a little extra compression around it. So you're looking for some light, easy compression. I think this is a good choice, so check it out.